Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Re-Edit War Machine figure. Now, I didn't buy this. Unfortunately, I don't get to keep it. It was sent to me to review and then to send back, which is very sad because it's a really cool figure, but thanks to Greg for sending it to me. I appreciate that. I gotta figure out some way to get one of these without having to pay for it because they are expensive, but it's a really cool figure. So let's take a look at him. He stands roughly 8 inches tall, which makes him just about 21 centimeters, just a little shy of that. And he does have some die-cast parts and lots of plastic and lights and paint, and looks really, really good. He's a really cool figure. It's unfortunate because I was hoping I didn't want one, but now I do, and I can't. I have to limit myself. All right, but let's take a look at the accessories because he does have a bunch of those. You can see on his hands, there are just fist hands right now, so we'll leave those there. And we have these plates right here and nothing on his back. We can change all of that, so let's take a look at the hands first. We do have some interchangeable saluting hands. If you want to call them saluting hands, they could be for something else, I suppose. Maybe flight or something like that. We have some open palm, fingers spread type of hands. They look pretty good. We have some of these which have the fingers kind of curled just a little bit, which would be good for repulsor blasts. And then we have more of the just relaxed kind of hands, which look pretty good. And they all have the painted repulsor in the center. In terms of his backpack, we get this bad boy, which is really cool. It has lots of hinges, as you can see. So you can bring each one of these down all the way and move them around however you want to. And then each one of these rivets is another hinge or a pivot. And then you can also rotate it around at the top. And same for this side. And you can even pop these off and swap the sides if you wanted to. Although I don't see why you would want to do that because they kind of look good the way they are. Then obviously you can see here that they fold in on themselves rather nicely so that they can be not too cumbersome on his back, which it just tabs in on that slot right there. Let me pull the camera out. Too many things in my hands. Alright, so if you see that tab, you can just slide this right in. And voila! Now he's got a lot of firepower, in addition to the other stuff I'm about to show you. And the barrel on the gun turret does spin, which is cool. They all obviously swivel this way. Unfortunately, they don't have any way to pivot up and down, which is rather disappointing. I think it would be cool to be able to point that up, or to fold it back and point it up. But you can't do that, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but still a really cool set. Okay, so I mentioned these pieces right here. So these guys can pop off. Be careful because it's a rather small tab. And then you can swap them with pieces like this. And you have one of these for either side. And I'll show you these more in the photos at the end. So you have those, one for either side. Or you have these, one for either side. Let's hope I grabbed the right one. I didn't. Let's put this one on. And now you have missiles on the side. The one thing that bugs me about these is the white color. It's a little bit bright. It doesn't really quite match him, but still looks pretty cool. I'll show you those in the photos at the end. For now, we're just going to leave the standard plate on, which I kind of prefer just because he's already got lots of guns, and he already has these guys here anyway, so we don't really need even more, but you do have the option. He also does come with a display stand, I believe, but I was not sent that, so I can't show it to you, but it's like a Hall of Armor type thing, so it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the paintwork first. He's very shiny, very metallic. We have at least 2 different gunmetals plus a silver and maybe like a grayish, no, maybe another gunmetal. Either way, lots of variation, which is really nice. And as far as I can tell, it's all edged in just about perfectly. It looks really, really clean. Very good, very classic look to War Machine here, especially in the head. It harkens back to the old Toy Biz figures very much. But it also does look like the movie a little bit, and then obviously he's got its own flair because he doesn't look like this most of the time. But it's a very, very nicely done figure. All of the little detail pieces are painted cleanly. All of the sculpt obviously is nice and sharp and not a soft sculpt at all, so that's really cool. Very happy with this guy. The repulsor in the chest, or the arc reactor, is translucent, and then his eyes are also translucent, and that is because you can open up this panel back here and flippy the switch. So you flip the switch, and it will fire missiles and talk, and it's remote controlled. No, it just lights up. But it lights up pretty nicely, and I'll show you. This is with the harsh lights on, so it's a pretty nice light. The way they made it glow rather than shoot out like an LED, it works pretty well. And I'll take some photos at the end so you can see it with the less harsh lights on it. And then also, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but it has a little bit of a glow spot in the back of the head also, which, like I said, it's not necessarily important either way, but it is there. And obviously that's the battery compartment, so you can replace those if you want to. Let's turn it off so that we don't run down the batteries for now. And then there's one more cool feature before we get to the articulation, which kind of counts as articulation. But if you flip these open, we have another little set of missile pods. And it's really cool the way the mechanism works. It folds in on itself automatically and pulls itself out automatically. And you can do that on both sides. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, this guy's got plenty of firepower on him. You don't really need those other guns that don't look that great. But it still looks cool. Oh man, the more I look at this guy, the more upset I am that I have to send it back. It's so disappointing, but he is like $200. He is available at Big Bad Toy Store, but I just can't bring myself to spend that much money on an 8-inch figure. Okay, let's look at the figure. He can look up very well, almost all the way up, no problem. Flight pose won't be an issue. You can bring his head down. He looks down pretty well, not a whole lot, but enough. Obviously side to side. You can move the neck around. I can't say for sure what kind of joints are in there because I can't really see them, but it feels at least like a ball peg. Could be single or double. I don't know. This definitely feels like it has a hinge mixed with a ball peg on the top. But either way, it's very functional, so who cares what the technical joint is. Love that paintwork on him though. That gunmetal, the silver they used, has a very nice finish to it. It almost looks like real metal. So that's very, very cool. The shoulder pads are particularly impressive the way they design these. They can move out completely because they have a hinge and a ball peg in there to allow for the shoulder pad to move independently of the shoulder. Now obviously I don't mean independently like I just did. I just took that off so I could show you how we have the inner ball peg where this connects to the torso. It's hidden by a cap, very much like the SH Figure Arts figures do, and that allows for the shoulder to move all the way around. I don't believe there's any in or out. I haven't been able to pull it out at all, and it wasn't in the directions, so I don't think that's there. But you don't really need it, because it moves around very well, and we have the full range of motion like this, and I'll show you how it works with the shoulder pad on in just a second. So very good range for the shoulder itself. We do get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, which gives him better than 90 degrees, and it's a pretty nicely designed elbow. It would help if I had that in focus. It's a very nicely designed elbow. You don't really see any of the guts, and it doesn't get super skinny or anything like that. So very, very well done for the arm. And then the hand itself has that kind of joint, which is a ball hinge with a little ball peg at the end and a little flap for the hand itself. The hands do come off a little bit too easily, I think. As you can see, I barely touched it just there and it popped off. But that's better than having a joint that's going to break. If I can get this on. Maybe it is on. I don't know. Looks like it is. Alright, so let's put the shoulder pad back on and I'll show you how that works with the articulation. So if you need to raise the arm up, you can pretty much just do it. And you won't have any trouble. It'll go all the way up and just kind of account for itself. So no issues at all. And since it's connected to the shoulder, even though it has all those extra joints, you can move the arm around and the shoulder pad's not going to get in the way. Bring it around, do whatever you want to do. No problems at all. Very nicely designed. Love the way they did that shoulder pad on that ball hinge peg combo. For the upper torso, I'm not sure what we have. I think it's just a double ball peg with that inner piece just kind of floating in there to hide everything. But you can lean it all the way forward, all the way back, all the way to the side, all the way to the other side, bring it all the way around. Pretty much do, again, whatever you want. No issues at all. It does get a little gappy, but since you have that internal piece, it's not too bad. And then we have the same type of situation down here, except there's no floaty piece, so it does get a little bit too gappy. And it feels like it's just a single ball peg for that one. But again, really nice range of motion. No issues at all. Just watch the sculpt so that you don't catch it on itself, and you shouldn't have any trouble posing him in the torso. For the hip, we have basically a ball hinge that is a ball hinge that is on a hinge, so you can bring the leg down and it goes down and back at a slight angle, and it snaps into place. And the reason you can do that is so that you can really utilize that hinge. It doesn't go too far forward still. As you can see, the sculpt is going to bounce off itself a little bit, but you can kind of play with it and get it up to where you need it to go. So really good range of motion there, and this functions just as a ball hinge once you get it down. Technically, it's got a hinge in the bottom part, and it doesn't actually rotate around itself, but practically speaking, you can treat it like a ball hinge. And then we have our thigh swivel there, so let's put that back up. And I do like the way that drop down snaps in on itself so that you don't have to worry about it getting loose or anything. Looks very good in either position. For the knees are connected onto this piece, so we have like a double hinge that pulls on itself like that, and it moves this, but it gives us a really nice range. And then we can bring it even all the way back and get a really good range of motion, but we do end up with that really skinny knee joint. Doesn't look too bad, but it is somewhat of an eyesore, but still really good range of motion. I probably wouldn't push it that far anyway, so it's no big deal. And then for the ankles, we have a ball peg at the top with, I think, a ball peg at the bottom with a hinge. It's just a really complicated ankle system, but it gives you really good range of motion. So you can bring the entire thing forward and back, side to side, and then you can also use the hinge to give yourself a better ankle rocker. And the foot itself can hinge forward and back on the bottom of the ankle, so you can just pull it off like that and show you, I guess, technically we have a ball peg in there, and then we have, well, this works. It does tend to fall apart a little bit too easily, I think, but it's better than breaking. So we have a hinge right there for your ankle rocker, and then the foot itself can hinge around on that, and that one popped off too. Okay, so it's a ball peg. Turns out it's just a ball peg. It felt like a hinge the way it was moving, but it's just two ball pegs. That's surprising how that worked out. So it's an L socket with a ball peg on either end. Huh, well, I'm glad it popped off so I could show you more accurately. But either way, you get really good range, and we have a nice toe hinge, which works very well. So let's pop that back on. You won't have any trouble posing this guy at all, unless you want to put him in a kneeling pose because he doesn't quite line up for that, but you could probably make it work. So despite the fact that a couple of the joints pop off a little bit too easily, and the ankles might be a little bit too soft for him because he's a pretty heavy figure, it's a mighty impressive figure. I really do like this guy, and I think you guys will too. If you can justify the price point to yourself, then, and if you like this design, then go ahead and get it. You're going to like the figure. The minor flaws in it do not make a problem at all for owning the figure. It's just a matter of justifying the price point for an 8-inch figure, which I'm sure technically it's worth it. It's just a matter of your own value judgment, whether you want to spend that much or not. So I do recommend it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.